born in the late 1980s from the chaos of the Soviet-Afghan War. Among them was Osama bin Laden, who turned this loose network into a global jihadist organization. The group's ideology was simple and brutal: fight Western influence in Muslim lands, overthrow secular regimes, and establish Islamic rule. Its most infamous act came on September 11, 2001. 19 operatives hijacked 4 planes, killing nearly 3,000 people in the United States. It was the deadliest terrorist attack in history, and it reshaped global security forever. Since then, Al-Qaeda's leadership has been hunted, scattered across Pakistan, Yemen, and Africa. Bin Laden was killed in 2011, yet its affiliates remain active, from Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula to Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. The organization may no longer dominate headlines, but its ideology still fuels movements worldwide. Al-Qaeda was the spark that lit the 21st century era of terrorism. ISIS. The ISIS rose from the ruins of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Formed after the 2003 U.S. invasion, it thrived in the chaos of the Iraq War and later the Syrian civil war. By 2014, ISIS declared a caliphate, a state built on terror. Its leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, stood in Mosul and proclaimed himself caliph. At its peak, ISIS controlled territory the size of Britain, with millions under its rule. The group mastered propaganda. Videos of brutal executions and battlefield victories spread across social media, drawing thousands of foreign recruits. But its brutality was also its downfall. A global coalition of local armies and Western airstrikes dismantled the caliphate city by city. By 2019, its last stronghold fell. Al-Baghdadi was killed the same year. Yet ISIS didn't disappear. It transformed into an insurgency, launching guerrilla attacks in Iraq and Syria. Its branches spread to Africa and Asia. ISIS showed how terrorism could evolve into a state, and how quickly that state could collapse under its own weight. Taliban. The Taliban began in the 1990s as a movement of religious students in Afghanistan. They promised order after years of civil war. By 1996, they seized Kabul and imposed a strict version of Islamic law. They gave sanctuary to Al-Qaeda, which made Afghanistan the launchpad for 9/11. After the U.S. invasion in 2001, the Taliban were toppled, but they regrouped as an insurgency, fighting a 20-year war against NATO and Afghan forces. In 2021, the United States withdrew. The Afghan government collapsed. The Taliban marched back into Kabul, retaking power almost overnight. Today, the Taliban are once again Afghanistan's rulers. They face international isolation, economic crisis, and resistance from groups even more extreme than themselves. For many Afghans, life under their rule is a return to fear. For the world, the Taliban remain proof of how resilient an insurgency can be. Boko Haram. In Nigeria, another group emerged in the early 2000s. Its name, Boko Haram, meaning Western education is forbidden. At first, it was a radical religious movement, but after 2009, it turned into a full insurgency, unleashing bombings, kidnappings, and massacres. Its most infamous act came in 2014, when it kidnapped more than 270 schoolgirls from Chibok. The slogan, "Bring Back Our Girls," became a global campaign. At its peak, Boko Haram controlled large parts of northeastern Nigeria, pledging allegiance to ISIS in 2015. But internal splits weakened the group, and Nigerian and regional armies pushed it back. Still, the violence has killed more than 35,000 people and displaced millions. Boko Haram remains one of Africa's deadliest insurgencies, a symbol of how terrorism can thrive where poverty and weak governance collide. Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab is Somalia's jihadist movement. It emerged in the mid-2000s from the remnants of Islamist militias fighting in the country's endless civil war. Its goal: create an Islamic state in Somalia and expel foreign troops. Its reach: deadly attacks across East Africa. In 2013, Al-Shabaab stormed a shopping mall in Nairobi, Kenya, killing 67 people. In 2017, it carried out a truck bombing in Mogadishu that killed more than 500, one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in Africa's history. Despite international operations against it, Al-Shabaab continues to control parts of rural Somalia, financing itself through extortion and smuggling. It remains entrenched, resilient, and dangerous. A reminder that weak states are fertile ground for endless insurgency. Hezbollah. Hezbollah is different from most groups on this list. It's not just a terrorist organization, it is also a political party, a social movement, and a militia backed by Iran. Born in Lebanon during the 1980s, Hezbollah was created to resist Israeli occupation. Its ideology fused Shiite Islam with Iranian revolutionary politics. The group built schools, hospitals, and welfare networks, winning local support. But it also carried out bombings, hijackings, and assassinations, especially against U.S. and Israeli targets. Over time, Hezbollah grew into one of the most powerful non-state actors in the Middle East. Its fighters have intervened in Syria's civil war, propped up Assad's regime, and clashed with Israel repeatedly. For many Lebanese, Hezbollah is both protector and problem, a force defending the country, but also dragging it into endless conflicts. It is a reminder that terrorism and politics can coexist within the same organization. Hamas. In the Palestinian territories, Hamas emerged in the late 1980s during the First Intifada. It combined Islamist ideology with the Palestinian struggle against Israeli occupation. Hamas built legitimacy through social services, schools, clinics, charities, but it also became known for suicide bombings and rocket attacks against Israel. In 2006, Hamas won Palestinian elections. Since then, it has governed the Gaza Strip, locked in conflict with both Israel and rival Palestinian factions. Its strategy blends politics and armed resistance. To supporters, Hamas is a movement of liberation. To its enemies, it is a terrorist organization bent on Israel's destruction. The cycle of wars in Gaza has cemented Hamas as both a political authority and a militant group. Its existence ensures that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains unresolved. FARC. In South America, terrorism took a different form. The FARC, or Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, began in the 1960s as a Marxist guerrilla army. For decades, it waged war against the Colombian state, financed by kidnapping, extortion, and the drug trade. At its peak, FARC had over 20,000 fighters and controlled vast rural territories. The war displaced millions and killed over 200,000 people. In 2006,